Hello, hello, hello from wherever you are tuned in watching this beautiful day. It's exactly 22 days, to be very precise with you, to the elections of our great nation of Uganda. 23 days, I think. 23 days, yes. So if you did some mathematics, you can know how much pressure is now mounting on one man, Mr. Byabakama. Is he going to be able to deliver a free and fair election for Uganda? Could he turn the tide around? We've had so many complaints and reports made about our Electoral Commission chairperson who allegedly always do not, get held accountable to the election that we hold in Uganda. So we are hoping that this time around, Mr. Byabakama will not bow to pressure, because there's been so much pressure going on, where we've seen incumbent Yoweri Kaguta Museveni coming out to begin applying and talking so much about Mr. Byabakama, saying they are feeling that he's not taking a tough stand against the opposition, which is not actually straight, because the opposition also is saying Mr. Byabakama is not coming out to categorically say enough is enough, the police brutality being channeled towards Mr. Robert Kyagulanyi's camp as we're going on. Right now, it's Uganda at Crossroads. I thought I wanted to first give a whole introduction to that. Uganda at Crossroads today. We were not able to be with you last week, sorry about that. But I have a full house today, and you're going to have a wonderful time today. And I'm going to give a chance to our guests to introduce themselves. Mr. Kakande, starting with you on my immediate right. Introduce yourself, and we shall go on with the rest of the team.
Good evening or good morning from wherever you are. I greet you in the name of Uganda. My name is Michael Kakande, also known as Kapalaga Biebe.
All right, and next to you is Sarah Joy. Sarah Joy, introduce yourself to our people.
You've already introduced me. My name is Sarah Joy, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm greeting everyone wherever you're watching from, East Coast, West Coast, people watching us from Canada, from Europe, from London, from Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Saudi Arabia, Uganda, the rest of Africa.
Yep.
How are you? And let's keep pushing. 14th January is not so far. And from so far what we've seen, it all looks good.
Good. And on your immediate right, Sarah Joy, we have Mr. Haman. Haman, introduce yourself to our people and let them know your role and what exactly you're doing in diaspora for the National Unity Platform.
Yes, I'm very humbled to be part of this program. My name is Haman Aineviona. I am the team leader of the diaspora People Power wing, and what we do is mobilize, sensitize, organize, and we are doing our best to make sure that we contribute. I think the diaspora sat aside and watched for long, and now they want to do. They want to act. They want to impact their homeland, and we are just representatives.
Yep.
To that end, yes.
Guys, I'm glad you're here, and I think we're going to have 3 more shows until we have an election, right? Is it 3? 3 more shows.
Yeah. I think that is up to you.
I mean, if you're counting weekends, right? We have 3 more weekends before the election. No, maybe, 3 more weekends. Yeah. And, I just figure that, that's too much pressure, going on back home in the country. I've been reading newspapers this week, and I want us to start from back home in Uganda. I've been reading newspapers, and I have seen increasingly the president saying Mr. Byabakama is not being fair enough to the election in Uganda, the process going on. Mr. Museveni is saying Mr. Byabakama is not weighing in on the opposition, and in particular, Mr. Robert Kyagulanyi, because Kyagulanyi is having huge crowds coming, and Mr. Museveni is saying those crowds, and what's strange is that Mr. Robert Kyagulanyi is saying the police and the EC are not, the EC is not coming out to blame the police brutality. But Mr. Museveni is saying the EC is not coming out to blame Robert Kyagulanyi's crowds gathering. And for me, that is a lot of confusion going on. Who should be standing and blaming the other for such times as this?
I think what I'm going to say is, I don't know whether our president, I don't know if at his age, I don't know if he has dementia. I don't know if he has issues that needs really to be worked on. Because if you look at all the footage, look at, President Museveni was look at the north. You had the group of Bebekos pulling crowds and giving T-shirts and all that. We went to Jinja, Kamoli, and you had Museveni's group, headed by Balam, giving out money, 5,000 and a T-shirt per person. In fact, they've even introduced, because money in a campaign is something, it's bribery. They've been giving out money. Go to the western, have you seen the footage that is coming from western Uganda?
Yeah.
President Museveni is even out of the car waving at the people. You've seen, basically people are carrying out, these are processions happening in western Uganda. So I don't know, and I think I should blame Babakama because he has not called. He had the audacity to call Honorable Kyagulanyi to the EC
and meet him,
to question him a number of things. But the double standards, and that's why we are asking Byabakama, if you cannot deliver free and fair election, let him resign. He called Opowa, he called Bobi Wine. We've not seen him summon President Museveni. His team has been carrying out processions. Go to Jinja right now. He sent a group to Jinja headed by Ronald Mayinja. There's Full Figure, there's Bajo, I've seen King Michael, I've seen Isma. That group is in Jinja. They are literally giving out money in broad daylight. They are campaigning for President Museveni, giving out money. And this is captured in broad daylight. It's on video, it's recorded. They're giving out money to voters, claiming it is money for Ntandikwa, money for SETA. But we know definitely it is not. It is, vote bribery. That's what they're doing. And if Byabakama up to this point has not even come out to call out the other NRM, because NRM openly is giving out money, of which it is not allowed in a campaign. So if President Museveni is complaining, yet his team is giving out money in broad daylight, everyone knows that. Yesterday, I think 2 days ago, in Kamoli, the group with that same group that is headed by Mayinja went out to Kamoli and they were telling people, oh, we know we have money for, your startup capital in Tandikwa, 2 million. And the people were bold enough to tell them, you're driving expensive cars. We've seen you've been bought off lots of money. Why are you giving us 2 million out of the money, And I've been informed that 1 billion has been put, because President Museveni is doing so badly in the West, so he sent over 1 billion. This is for voter bribery. In fact, Mayinja's driver was beaten. Someone is going to send me the raw footage. One of the people who attended told me Mayinja's driver was beaten. Mayinja ran off. All the entire team ran off from the venue where they are. So I don't know if Byabakama, in fact, in all this I'm blaming Byabakama. For President Museveni, he needs to shut up for starters. For Byabakama, I'm blaming Byabakama for not calling the other team for openly bribing voters in broad daylight. We've not seen any other candidate.
Because for me, my concern has been, we have not seen him come out to, for instance, say police brutality is too much.
No, he hasn't.
We've seen, for instance,
but
the basic rights of Mr. Robert Kyagulanyi, even access to a hotel.
No, even yesterday.
It's been so rampant that
even yesterday he was
he has to seek permission to access a hotel.
Where else are they going to shoot if they keep shooting? It's because if a car is moving and you keep shooting the tires, that means you want this car to turn over. So basically, when they move away from, if they fail at that mission of shooting and the tires and the cars rolling over, they are going to shoot him. That's the next step. But Byabakama has not called out the police brutality on the presidential candidates. He has not. Byabakama, the same energy he used to summon Opowa and Honorable Kyagulanyi to the EC, he should summon candidate Museveni. Because he's a candidate right now, he should summon candidate Museveni and talk about the processions. I saw all the videos. Thank God Kyagulanyi was prepared when he visited the EC. He had, which they came up, they compiled the videos, they compiled the photos where Museveni was and all the people. They compiled what was in Busia, they compiled what was in Jinja, they compiled all the places they had visited and the number of people that were there. And moreover, these are people who have been bought. These people are given 5,000 and then given a t-shirt. And then took it to the EC. At that point, Byabakama had nothing to say because, you know, just like he said, doesn't have a DSTV, doesn't follow what is going on, yet he's the manager of the campaign. He had nothing to say, but proof was there. But what surprised me was I was on Twitter and I saw the government spokesperson, Ofono Pondo, saying those pictures are old pictures from last year.
Anyway.
And I'm like, so last year we had COVID, people were wearing masks because in those pictures you can see some people wearing masks. And you wonder a lot, I really wonder how these people reason. It is a group of old people who ceased to reason maybe 10, 20 years ago. Because for a man like a government spokesperson to even tweet that those are old pictures,
I mean, that's what
who are they fooling?
That is what is paid to do. But let me come back to you, Sarah. Haman, what is your take on Mr. Byabakama's stand right now? Are you seeing, because the challenge we have now is we haven't seen him come out, for example, to address a press conference where he is saying, okay, I have had reports from NUP, I have had reports from, and this is how I'm going to harmonize it. What are your fears, Mr. Haman Byabakama? Mr. Haman.
You're calling him Haman Byabakama?
What are your fears concerning?
I'm very sure if he was Haman Byabakama, he would have, he would have distanced away from the Byabakama name already.
And I call myself Bakana.
Yeah, exactly. You would rather live with that.
What are your fears?
You see, I think they're trying to relate coincidence with reality. The coincidence is that Kyagulanyi is one of the most loved candidate in the country, and it's also a reality. It's a coincidence. I mean, no one mobilizes those people. No one ferries. You've never seen us with a bus. We are desperate for cars because cars are being knocked down all the time.
But they're desperate. You had Chiwanda say that those people are ferried from Kampala. And I wonder how you ferry people from Kampala. I hear border riders are ferried from Kampala to Arua, to Gulu.
Yeah.
And like these men have lost it.
The disconnection. But so that is a coincidence. And then the reality of Ugandans. The reality of Ugandans is that the Ministry of Health, if it is COVID, we want to manage, right? If it is COVID and we are banning songs, we are so desperate to manage COVID that now we are banning music. We are that efficient. If it is COVID, COVID is managed through availing your communities with masks, okay? Testing. I mean, testing is $100 in Uganda. They even charge in dollars.
COVID.
You see? So the government that is responsible for managing a disease is blaming opposition. And this is the impunity we are fighting. These are the things that remind me of why I decided to make my contribution towards the transition of power. Otherwise, we wouldn't. So I know that some of our leaders you know, they are in Uganda. They say their eyes are covered. Right? I don't expect them to do much, but we Ugandans, those are the people that I like to talk to. We Ugandans should look around ourselves. Let's not wait for someone to criticize. Let us look around and see how many people have been shot. Let us look around and see how many people died on November 18th. Okay? Let us look around and see who is hiring goons. You've seen the policemen who went stabbing people yesterday and shot bullets at a civilian's car. There's no one who is armed among all those people. Okay? So let us be realistic in our discussions. Let's not wait for Byabakama. Let Museveni not confuse us anymore. He has done that for 35 years where we start to doubt ourselves. Who should we blame? No, let us look at the realities and put the responsibility on the people who are supposed to carry that responsibility. The government issued 80 million, over 80 billion shillings to the Ministry of Health to what? To give masks, okay, in this budget, in this recent budget, about 3 months ago. 80 billion. Tell me one Ugandan who has got a free mask. One Ugandan who is not an MP or one of these people in government. And then they passed an additional 50 billion, still for the same reason, for masks. That's the money that's buying NRM borders in eastern Uganda. That's the money that Kusasira and Bebekul are dishing out. Okay? They are not dishing out masks. In NRM's campaign doesn't have masks. At least we are issuing masks. We are trying to issue masks, even with the very squeezed resources we have. So it is madness, it is even madness to start doubting what is obviously in front of us. That's what I say. The Yabakamas, I mean, they are present, but let us first speak to our realities, because that is why we are in this struggle.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to bring in Mr. Kapalaga. Kapalaga, I want you to start on an issue that personally it has also given me some signals, some red flags about what's coming next. We have seen 2 new reshuffles. One in the SFC and the Special Force Command for the President, and we've seen one for the police, where we've seen a time-tested military guy that I met some time back in Somalia. He has been brought in now, you know, in the police force as a deputy IGP. Kapalaga, does this show you an indication that there is something going on that we're not yet aware of? Why would the president, the timing now, why would it be very ripe for him to reintroduce his son back to head the Special Force Command? For the office that we feel should be handing over now, why should there be now new reassignment going on?
Well, I think we would be naive to say that this is something that we don't expect. Whatever is happening is definitely expected, because it has happened before with different dictators around the world. There is an English word called autocracy. I wrote it here. Autocracy, in those autocratic people tend to have the same behaviors. I've just been reading about Kim Jong-il. Is the father of the current North Korean president. And, you know, he had his own means in the country that he put. Like, whenever he told the people that the day he was born in 1942, and he told people that the day he was born, there was
Rainbow.
That the rainbow had 2 colors, and then there was a bright star.
Only 2 colors?
Yeah, only 2 colors. So it came on the sky, you know, the king has been born, and then there was that bright star, and then the day he died, the sun told people that there is some iceberg mountain somewhere because he has died. Literally, autocratic leaders are selfish, because we are raised to protect our children, right? So for President Museveni and people like him, I'll tell you, Kamis Gaddafi was a leader of the Kamis Brigade in Libya. And the Kamis Brigade was the Special Forces command for the president. So it was that Kamisi once went to a TV station and said the president has the support of the army. Until today, no one knows how Kamisi was killed. Now, what autocratic leaders do, they put everyone to the forefront to protect themselves. And they can also put their children to the forefront. What is happening today is President Museveni is simply preparing for a war. The unfortunate thing is this war is not against Al-Shabaab. It is not against any country. It is a war against the citizens of Uganda. That is so unfortunate that the president says he probably fired the deputy IGP because he was not serious, apparently. And he brings in a person who has been manding Al-Shabaab, a terrorist group in Somalia. So this person has been leading the forces against the terrorist group and now is brought to police Ugandans.
Yeah.
So we would be naive to think that President Museveni thinks good for the country and is preparing good for the country with such reshuffles.
But just to add on that, I think it's also a desperate attempt to hold on to power. Clearly, for me, I see it as being short-staffed. He is understaffed. He's now staffing his son as the guard. That's why you see people like Asimwe Abraham. You find him in Gulu, you find him in Bale.
Because he has a few people who he can trust.
So, 40 million Ugandans against 20 people, the same way, you can name them, okay? Yeah, it is a lost fight. So that is what gives me confidence. It is a sign of being short-staffed, and it's a sign of.
And if you've been following President Museveni's trail, the ADC now changed to the daughter.
Yeah, I see.
And if you have the daughter is the ADC and the son is the bodyguard, now you know.
No, but it's one thing you must understand. President Museveni is of advanced age. He's, and I don't think his health is really good. You saw him falling off when he was getting into the car. He has a problem with his right or left hand. Sometimes the way he behaves, I think he's mentally not right. So he needs someone close. Sometimes I don't mind Natasha being with him because he needs, and the pressure is too much. Because for sure, President Museveni, if you ask him 2 years, 1 year ago, if he saw Kyagulanyi coming, he never. They underestimated Kyagulanyi. They thought the best he can do is become a member of parliament, enjoy that money, and go away. And now they've come to a stage where the person they underestimated has taken, has awakened Ugandans with the message he came up with. And I'm going to add on this. You see, what was very funny, I was talking to someone who was on President Museveni's trail in Ntungamo. This is where the president comes from. And this person, the people of Ntungamo, took him to their referral hospital and they said, we want you to see. You want us to vote for President Museveni. We want us to see the referral hospital. This person told me he had to shed a tear because in Ntungamo, this is where Museveni comes from, Janet comes from. They don't have where they put dead bodies. Dead bodies are kept in the same place with the living. If you die, they will roll you over on one side and people have to leave. If you look at the toilets in that hospital, if you look at, there are no hospital beds, they have no oxygen, they have nothing. And I was asking myself, if really, I don't understand, because sometimes, at least President Museveni would have developed where he comes from. At least he would have seen the maker of Uganda is in Ntungamo. At least he would have given the people of Ntungamo. He would have had reason to hold on to power when people of Ntungamo are happy. But even the people of Ntungamo, the only people who are happy around President Museveni cannot even make 10,000 people. There are a few Ugandans who have been able to steal and amass wealth. So at the end of the day, you ask yourself, where is his support? Because sometimes we blame and say, oh, it is people from Western Uganda. I know definitely for what President Museveni has done, it is going, after the departure of President Museveni, it is going to take the western part of Uganda a long time to get another president. Because basically Museveni has spoiled He has ruined anyone coming from Western Uganda with any serious political ambition. He has done it successfully. It is going to take them a long time. It's the same, you see what happened with the North when you had Obote and Amin. People lost trust in those people for a very long time. So because he has even failed to help his own area, because you would have said, okay, he holds on to this. And then the other section he holds on to, it is a few people, just like he said, few people in the army and the police, because majority, and I'm telling you, 90% of the people in the army don't even earn they earn less than $100 a day. You see the conditions they sleep in. Their kids go to the same schools as the ordinary Ugandans and they cannot afford school fees. They sleep in despicable conditions, they cannot afford school, they cannot afford school fees, they fall sick and then they have to go to Mulago, which is supposed to be a national referral hospital, and they have to pay the bills. So who is he depending on? So what does he do? The desperate move is to have his son be the next of kin or the commander who takes in charge of his army. But what have we seen? When we look at, and you see when I see all these things happening, I look at how the other dictators are falling. All the other dictators towards their falling, they got their immediate family members, and that is sons, and they put them next to them. Look at, just do a survey in Africa how dictators are falling. All dictators all over the world. It is their sons that are immediate, closer to them. They give, that special force to the sons, and they start handpicking. Because you ask yourself, what is the army doing in police? You mean police, we don't have competent police officers in the whole country that you have to get people in the army to run the police? That's the question we should be.
That has been an issue for so long as to why Mr. Museveni always chooses to have generals or military.
Exactly.
Men
Why are you having military men?
But for now, it is the timing. Why would you want to introduce?
No, but and from what he said,
Museveni was also another military guy who has been in that position, right?
That's
I don't know where. Yeah, I don't know where he's been taken. But the only issue
he
now,
said he wasn't working, and you see,
the working.
When the president says police ebaddemu kawukumi, he said that when he was reshuffling Kayihura. And now he makes the same statement, police ebaddemu kawukumi, and they had to act. If they cannot protect the people, let them go and rear goats. What happened? There was riots. Over 100 people were killed.
Yeah.
Okay?
November.
And then the president says the police is actually not working. When there were riots, the president never condemned the killings. He instead said, we are sorry for those, we shall compensate he will compensate the innocent ones.
Which is a lie also.
Which is a lie.
Okay. He said we shall compensate the innocent ones, but for those who are not innocent, the protesters,
how do you distinguish
it's okay to be killed. And who killed the innocent ones and the culprits?
But how do you
distinguish? It's the police, okay?
How do you distinguish between the rioters and those that were just walking by?
Nevertheless, if the president comes out and says the police did not work, after 100 people died, and he never condemned it. But so that means to him that was a small number. Okay? Otherwise,
and it shows the level of criminality. How do you sweep crime
under
the rug?
If President Museveni had condemned the killings and then said, I am even reshuffling this guy because people died.
Yeah.
That would be great.
That is exactly what I'm saying. He's sweeping crime under the rug. He's trying to it's a basic cover-up. You find your president covering up for criminals. That people who are killing Ugandans are being covered up by the person we call president. But my plea, I mean, we know how ridiculous this guy has been. I mean, 35 years, some child was analyzing, saying, Uganda has had independence for 58 years. Right? 35 of those 58 years, more than half the time since independence, we've been under rule of one person. Now, I want the police officers to think about that. Before they shoot, before they kill, before they attack, before they stab. Okay? And my appeal to them is to think about themselves, their future, and their children's future. And that's why we are doing this. That's why we are part of this.
And that introduces us to now an issue I wanted us to, we've gone with it already, but let's run quickly into the capacity now. Because looking at all that is going on, evidently, we must all by now be certain that Mr. Robert Kyagulanyi is not just a threat to the NRM camp, but is right now being seen as the potential, president coming in if this election is going to be free and fair. Let's just have honesty with it. Let's go forward, flash forward quickly.
Even if it's not free and fair.
And I want it to be free and fair.
Because even the campaign is not free and fair.
Because we don't want to shed innocent blood, as we've seen.
No, but let me ask you,
said.
If Ugandans have spoken and vote for Honorable Kyagulanyi, why are we shedding blood?
No, that's the thing. Because if that answer should be asked by Mr. Museveni, why is he reshuffling the military now?
No, but
why
because
is he introducing?
Don't be anxious.
For the time, because you see all this, and I don't know how President Museveni and those around him, but you've seen most of them are very delusional. I see some of the political programs, and I see a group of men who are comfortable, a group of men who do not care about the future of their own children, a group of men who have given up. They don't care about tomorrow. All they are looking at, oh, I'm happy, I'm comfortable, I don't care about what else is happening. Because the major questions you'll be asking yourself right now, if President Museveni at this point in time, after 35 years, he still wants to cling on power. And then I saw him yesterday in, I think, one of the places, I think in Bunyoro, blaming Honorable Kyagulanyi for being responsible for the area not being developed because that he has stopped the factories. He said, oh, it is you supposed to work in the factories, but Honorable Kyagulanyi. I said, man, wake up. Honorable Kyagulanyi was 4 years when you became president. This boy has grown up, a 4-year-old boy, in the names of Honorable Kyagulanyi, has grown up on your regime. So are you, and it is so despicable for a president to start blaming Honorable Kyagulanyi, who has only been in the politics for only about 2 years, 3 years, and it was only 4 years when President Museveni took over power. It tells you how much delusional he is. So you want people to believe that at 4 years, it was too much for me. And I'm like,
he has run out of ideas, definitely. But as you said, it's just attempts to cling on to power. But for me now, my fears is flash forward. The election is won, right? Let's look at the National Unity Platform capacity to run this government. But especially, where are all these men going to go? Because that's my worry. Where are they going to go?
They don't want to go. So
which men?
All these men being around Museveni. Once this
but
election is won.
I already told you they're about 20 people. Why are you so worried about 20
many?
people?
Yes.
Okay. Talk to us about.
Why are you worried about 20 people who have not more than 10 years of their lives?
Unpack for us the capacity of the National Unity Platform to run Uganda differently. With all this criminality has been going on. Just help us, unpack for us that briefly, and then I'll give each one of you a chance to give us the vision of once this government is done. Now we are into this new ancient service, So our Fist 5. We talk about 5 things. We talk about a people-centered government. We talk about equal access to health and education. We talk about
athletics.
Yes, education and it's arts, agriculture, arts. It's not just sciences. It's athletics. It's those A's that Honorable Kyagulanyi speaks about time and again. We talk about inclusive economic development. Now, economic development includes employment. Where assignments are not made to family and friends. Okay, the assignments that you're talking about, where the people who are running businesses are not strictly. Do not all hail from one tribe and village. Okay? What Sarah was talking about in Tungamo, the hospital, inclusive economic development, sorry to say this, but Museveni is so selfish that even his homeland.
Exactly.
Even his homeland. Now that inclusiveness is what we are talking about. That's why he is from a different profession, she's from a different profession, and I am we are from different areas of the country. I think we are the most diverse political party in Uganda. And it makes sense. I mean, if you are the most popular, then you should have most representation, right? It should correlate. Okay, so we talk about inclusive economic development. We talk about access to natural, to minerals and all those, proper utilization of those. Okay, and then we talk about security and international relations. But people keep saying, I've heard this repeatedly. People keep saying, you guys are not organized. You've heard something like that, right? You guys don't have capacity. Kyagulanyi doesn't have Kyagulanyi doesn't have experience. Our campaign.
I mean, I saw Mwenda saying yesterday, but one that he has no foreign policy.
Yeah, well.
And I'm look at. Why should we bother about foreign policy right now?
Look at how much
before we even address the country's
right.
issues.
Let's talk about internal affairs.
No,
right?
but them with the foreign policy, they've managed to handle just a dispute with Rwanda. It's been going on. The borders are closed. You claim to have foreign policy, but you can't even handle a dispute with Rwanda.
It is desperate, but I'll just talk about our capacity. The campaign we are running is very similar to our government. We have a medical team, which is health. We have a team that does training. Comrade Aisha Kavanda has been running trainings at the Secretariat, training people on what to do, our MPs and other people. It's been ongoing for a bit. We have training which might fall under education. So I spoke about health. We have legal, okay? We have finance, okay? So that is a structured approach. It is experience, basically, running different departments, okay? So we can't, it would be out of maybe ignorance and not knowing to say that you don't have experience running a government. Well, experience is right there. And I think we are succeeding. I don't know what you think. But from the look of things, I think the movement is moving with very big roadblocks, but we are pushing through those roadblocks. So we are very capable of running.
I mean, for me, it's never a worry, really, how a government is going to operate when it's coming to power. Because once we have systems, I mean, why should people say, tell us what you're going to be able to do? If you ask Mr. Museveni when he was in 1986, honestly speaking, there wasn't anything he had on paper. His intention was just to overthrow a government. To add on, exactly. And we've seen how they have been gambling all through the last 35 years, honestly.
And to add on what Herman said, so, what experience did President Museveni come with into government?
Besides killing people.
Besides killing people. All that's what he knew. Museveni was one of the leaders who came on very poor. Show me Museveni's house before 86 in Uganda. He had no house. He had no home. And let's take experience from, even if, sometimes let's take experience from how Kyagulanyi has lived his life and how he has bettered himself.
He's a whole different man.
Yes.
If you compare Museveni at Kyagulanyi's age then and now Kyagulanyi.
Look at Kyagulanyi at his age and bring out Museveni at the age of Kyagulanyi right now. Kyagulanyi is really an accomplished man. If you bring those two men here and you ask your parents, who does your child marry? This Tunyehabura Museveni will not have anyone. At the age of 38, he didn't have a house.
And
he didn't have a house. And when he came into power, what did he do? He went out for people who had experience. That's why you had the Paul Kawanga, Semogedi days, and the rest working in his government. There is a lot of experienced people in this country, of which you can give position to man. The only thing you need to do, because Kyagulanyi has a lot to do when it comes into power. First, the criminals have to be put away. They have to be accountable for what they've done. Uganda has lost so much money. We've borrowed so much money, of which if you ask for the accountability of the money, it is individuals that have stolen. We should be able at least to cover maybe 80% of that money, and it goes back where the money came from. Because apart from that, I've been reading, you have about 125 years for the debt to be cleared. Who is going to pay that debt? These old men don't care who is going to pay it, because their children, they've set up life for their children. Right now, as they claim Uganda is peaceful and comfortable, the wife of Muhozi, that is Charlotte, is based in Canada. She left Uganda with all her kids, and they have a home in Canada. Why is she living in Canada if Uganda is peaceful? already they've set up themselves. If anything happens, you'll see Mhozi somewhere else, you know.
And the Andrew Mwendas who are asking for foreign policy.
The Andrew Mwendas asking for foreign policy.
Don't care about
they will either run back to Rwanda.
They will use the foreign policy to run away from
Yeah,
every time you ask Andrew Mwenda who killed the people on 18th November, he'll say, but you see, these people are radical. They are sponsored by Western powers. And he'll bring up, you ask him who killed the people. You see, they don't have foreign policy. Who killed the people? He will not answer that.
When you start asking about, just like I said, if you've refused to just manage a dispute with Rwanda, which I don't think it's really major, and you start asking the other about foreign policy. And again, for people like Andrew Mwenda, because I expect him to be intelligent, sometimes he does stuff that make him look so stupid, and I wonder, because when people grow older, you expect them to be more intelligent, but the people in government seem to become a lot denser and stupid. We have a manifesto. Ask any of these guys if they've had a chance to read that, to read in the manifesto. You want Kyagulanyi to campaign by the book of the manifesto, and I like Kyagulanyi's campaign. Kyagulanyi's campaign, he has a manifesto for the elite. If you have the time and you're elite and you want to ask these questions, read and understand the manifesto. And then he switched his campaign to speak to the heart of the voters. Ugandans want to hear exactly what Kyagulanyi is saying. Ugandans don't care about foreign policy when they can't have jobs. Ugandans don't care.
I want change now, so I don't really,
I
don't want to read the book.
And the majority of Ugandans wants to see another president. So if you start telling them what you're going to do with Rwanda, what you're going to do with America, what you're going to do, they don't want to hear that, because
Mr. Museveni's 10 points program for so long.
Exactly, and it has failed. The campaign of Honorable Kyagulanyi is spot on. We are removing a dictator, because I've seen people say, oh, he's not even talking about what to do. He's focused at removing Museveni. And I keep telling them, Museveni is the problem of Uganda.
The number one.
Basically, the number one problem of the country called Uganda is President Museveni. Take him out of the equation, that country is going to be a better country. Because Museveni and all his lot that they've been robbing the country, none of them will survive under another government. They will disappear.
Do you know that Campfire TV would be among that list if it was based in Uganda?
Oh yeah, I saw the.
No, but they're individuals.
It is ridiculous.
No, but you see the individuals, because I saw JB, I saw Lumboye, and I'm like, you're putting individuals of which you can't even control. And for example, seriously, I wonder how intellectuals sit without using their brains and think they can write to organizations like Google, like Facebook.
I told you he is short-staffed.
And you expect your grievances to be taken seriously when you're number one at abusing human rights. Because, so you want Facebook to take down pages of people who are not coming up with their own stories, but people report as everything happens on ground. So basically, you want to stifle the right to sharing information, and people saying, in fact, you see what is happening. You saw what is happening. They've come up with the law very fast, and I don't know what lawyers are doing to stop it. They want, unless you're coming from an accredited media house, by 21st December, they don't want. So basically,
journalists, you must be. Actually, you bring a very...
No, who is a journalist?
You bring a very interesting topic.
No, let me, and I'm going to ask you, who is a journalist?
I mean, I went to school, I did my bachelor's degree in journalism.
I'm telling you, I could, what the team needs to do.
There are so many schools.
What I'm asking the team that moves with Kyagulanyi, go and get your NASA certificates from HomeCart and move with them on the campaign trail.
And show the people.
Yeah, who is the journalist? just like when they came up to registering, bloggers should register. So they look at everyone who has a following, they think you're a blogger. The question would be, who is a blogger? Because if you cannot answer who is a blogger, don't come to me because I have a following or someone has a following.
Let me first hear from a blogger next to me. Kapalaga, what are the audiences saying?
He's not a blogger.
Do you have any messages there that need attention before we can ask you a question? Any questions there on the page?
On the page?
Before I can ask you my question. You can read actually and tell us.
I wanted to comment on that question that you asked. What NUP is going to do, the capacity that NUP has. You see, this is a unique movement. I've been on radio for 10 years, ever since my high school. When I left high school, I went straight to radio. I've done music for the last, it's coming to 10 years too. So I've never imagined my life talking about politics. Never in my life. Do you know what she was doing? Should I tell you?
I know she's a celebrity in her own capacity, but I don't know.
I used to be an importer.
She was a business woman, and I bet if she ever thought of speaking politics. My brother there is a nurse, and you know,
So,
nurse and politics.
You can imagine injections and politics.
You should be
There's
in the
no,
lab
it's a
attending
mismatch.
But what happens is what President Museveni has done to us is to actually realize that we have to take part in the politics and governance of our country. And we realize that we actually have to leave our comfort zones and come out and speak. Okay? And that is one achievement that KYAGULANYI got, that he brought us out. You know, we were comfortable. At least I was comfortable. I was a star, my friend. Okay? Yeah. I could stage a show and have 20,000 people in my concert. So I lived a comfortable life. She was a businesswoman, and you know, she has money and she has everything. She was in a comfortable life. He is in a comfortable life. Yeah. But then, when you look at our country, you tend to think about the future of us and our children. Where do we want them to be? That's why we jump onto the movement and say, okay, I think there is a generational leader and we have to back him up. Now, what does the NUP stand for? Like Herman told you, we have the First Five, and then we have what we call the 4 A's. The 4 A's, we have arts. I am an artist. Okay, I am a performing artist. I am Kapalaga, and probably you've heard about me. You've listened to me on radio. You've seen my music on YouTube. I am what I am because of music, and we think in NUP. For example, today Uganda is being roasted by Nigeria, simply because of one artist, who was arrested in Uganda. And that is simply because Nigerian government took art as something very important, as something, as a flag carrier. So we think if we had many Eddie Kenzos, probably, if we had very many Bobby Wines, if we had very many Jose Chameleons, very many Bebe Cools, our Uganda would be a greater Uganda. That is arts. Then we look at academics. Of course, we get lawyers, we get doctors, we get each and every profession from academics. And how can we boost the academics? Through education systems. Make sure every probably sub-county has a very good school, primary, secondary school, and probably that every region has a university and everything. So that is academics. But there are those people who are not privileged with, who are not so smart with academics, but they can always run. So that's why we talk about athletics. Okay? We think we can have as much Kiprotich. We can have as much, what's that guy, Cheptegei. But what has the current government done? Even when such people register golds and, those medals, all they do is president invite them to the State House, give them food, go. But the government has not thought about what can we do to have more of these. Jamaica today is well known for athletics. Okay? US here is well known for athletics. Somalia, at least you can fault everything. No, Ethiopia, I think. Ethiopia has the very many golds. At least you can fault Ethiopia on anything, but not politics, or rather sports. So that's why we are talking about athletics as our third A. Then we talk about agriculture. We've grown, I mean, in our primary schools, in our secondary schools, they've always told us agriculture is the backbone of Uganda. How much do we produce? How much do we still have to export raw materials in this century? Do we still have to get milk from Barara, to take it to Kenya to be processed for yogurt? Do we still have to, do we have plants in different regions to process what they are producing? For example, we know in Mbarara there is milk. In Nakasongola there is muogo. So can we give them a plant to process what they are digging, what they produce in agriculture? At regional level. That is why we are talking about the 4 A's. And these 4 A's are after the first 5 that Haman was talking about, then we have the 4 A's. My friend, we are going to change Uganda. And this is very soon. I want to tell you, my brother, we are going to change Uganda to the better. And this is very soon. Why? Because we are real. We are not politicians. I am not a politician. I don't even know politics. I even hate politics, but I am a realist and I understand what Uganda needs. Uganda does not need politicians because politicians have stolen from Uganda for the last 58 years. It is now the common people, we the common people, me as an artist, to do my part. This lady as a businesswoman to do her part. Him as a nurse to do his part. And together we are going to build Uganda to the better. And that is what we talk about when we say a new Uganda.
Good. He has brought in a new segue to Haman. Let's go now direct to diaspora. He has introduced us, he has spoken about the fact that we need to work cohesively together. Haman, give us a quick update about the operations in diaspora. You head the National Unity Platform. I mean, I would say global. I don't know if it's fair to say global, but you are heading the diaspora, team, and you're in charge of, supervising and everything going on. What's going on? Tell us about the chapters.
I serve.
Yes.
But it's not prestigious at all. With the actual work that is involved, it is responsibility and service.
Because you're a nurse, you're supposed to be in a hospital. By the way, he's a nurse in America standard. He's a nurse that studied in America. Being a nurse in America is one of the highest and most prestigious professions, I would say. So you sacrifice your work as a nurse, and then you're still talking about that.
Yeah, I was saying that, and these are the things we want to do. Healthcare is very important. That's why it's on our earning from healthcare in a country like here. You understand how disadvantaged our nurses are.
Yeah.
You understand how disadvantaged our doctors are. The people who are making money are the people who are switching from Bobi Wine to Museveni. I don't know what that profession is. What is the profession? What is it called?
Just sell your conscience.
It is a profession of maybe, I don't know, of a hypocrisy. If you're a professional hypocrite, you can make money in Uganda. But the practices, the professions that should be respected are professions like police.
Yeah.
Here you find a policeman talks to you, and you pay attention to them. In Uganda, people are doing this to policemen. You understand? That is the madness. And you will never hear someone in the Marines or in the army walking with a policeman.
Yeah.
A police car is a police car. Someone comes out and they are police. You can't have a policeman here, an army man there, and then someone in the someone you don't know in the back who you can't identify. Do you understand? Those are the misgovernance, and that's why we talk about good governance. It is the key thing that we emphasize to Ugandans. We know that if there is a police unit, it's a police unit. If it's a military unit, it's a military unit. Talk about, you know that government is made up of 3 arms, and I'm going to speak about the diaspora right after this. Government is made up of 3 arms: legislature, executive, and judiciary, right? But the moment you have the executive start to make decisions, because the legislature is supposed to pass laws. For instance, if you have a minister, Matiya Kasaija, he's both a legislative, he's both in the legislative arm of government and also in the executive arm of government. You come with a crazy bill, OTT, now journalists, right? You come with a crazy bill because this guy is in your executive, he is for that bill. Yeah. And that's why Ugandans keep saying NRM has the most MPs, because all of them are executive. We should have legislature and executive. Legislative arm, executive arm of government, so that we make decisions. Okay? But there is a conflict of interest every time you have Eli Tumuine putting up his arm voting for NRM. Matiya Kasaija putting up his arm. Ruth Acheng putting up their arm voting. Do you understand? Yeah. And that is a minister of state. You understand? So that confusion is what Andrew Mwenda should be fixing. Instead of asking about the ridiculous things that are in his utopic thoughts, he should be trying to question things like that misgovernance. But anyway, I can talk about Museveni's misrule all day, but I'll talk about what we are doing and how we need you to support us. First, fundraising. Yeah. We need money. We have 3 weeks to go. We need funds. There is a PayPal link going around that is official, but also we are running fundraisings. North America started 2 weeks ago. Every weekend we run a fundraising. We need funds to run the campaign, daily trail. To pay rent, to pay bills at the office, to pay the few employees that are there, to print posters, to do adverts, right, Kapalaga, and many other things.
I'm told there was an advert on NTV this week for Noob, and I was happy to hear that because it's not been easy in the past to have opposition candidates.
And it wasn't even easy then. This guy is the heart behind that being on NTV, and maybe he wants to say something.
Yeah, like Herman says. It's not easy.
Is it still running?
Yeah, it is.
It should be.
It actually has
be,
run
but you
for
never
the
know.
Because the reason I was going to say
it is running.
I did some communication part, and I remember NTV News to run a 15-second advert in their news.
Yeah, it's actually
16, 17 million by then, but now it must be higher than that.
Yeah, and you know, when you see the government is so scared, and when it comes to us, it thinks that's the exact narrative. That's the exact narrative that they are using. They use that narrative to make people think that we are funded. But unfortunately, it is me and her and him and
maybe
the rest
you,
of, and probably you, who fundraised for such events. We've fundraised for the posters. We've fundraised for the campaigns. For example, each day that the president is out there, he uses between 9 and 13 million shillings each day. So that's why I am inviting you, sir, on our fundraiser tomorrow, on Sunday at 8 p.m. So this time around, we actually have the president speak to us.
It's nice to have adverts on NTV because, as you were saying,
we want to put adverts everywhere, my friend. We are doing everything
NBS,
because
NTV, UBC.
Yes, but we are just restricted by the funds.
We can't contact UBC when we can't afford to pay.
Definitely, you know. So because the tax that they levy these media houses for running our adverts is high. And you know, with the commerce, when they levy you the campfire, more taxes, you send them back to me. So that's why you see, you've only seen, I think, one advert on NTV. It's only one running, probably in the bulletin. But we definitely want more adverts. That is why I am appealing to you and whoever is seeing me to please come and mobilize with us, mobilize funds with us. We have a fundraiser. We have different chapters. If you don't know your chapter, you can always inbox us. You can always inbox Haman. You can always inbox Sarah Joy. You can always inbox me. We also have a central number where we put all the funds, most especially those in the diaspora. We have different chapters. We have 38?
Yeah, 38.
38 chapters.
We have Algeria on board, and we have another new chapter. Ohio came on board as well.
So all those chapters are mobilizing funds within themselves. Within what we call chapters are actually.
Do you have one in Kenya? Because Kenya,
yes, we do.
Kenyans are very actually interested in the elections going on back in Uganda.
Yes, we do. We have one in Kenya. We have one in Zambia. We have one in South Africa. We have in Botswana, Ghana. So even when you think we don't have a chapter in your country, you can always come to us. We can always set up a chapter. We need money.
Why is it important now? Because I know, for me personally, I know it. Give people a clear picture of how money is going to play a very important role in the next 3 weeks.
Money is going to fuel this campaign trail. The campaign trail helps mobilize voters who we want to vote, because we intend to do this democratically. Money is going to fuel publicity, advertising. Money is going to fuel healthcare, because people are shot, people are beaten, and those people run back to the secretariat to get medical help. Money is going to help legal. People in jail, people who are arrested, people who are, taken. Sometimes you have to find people and dig them out. If I tell you some of his stories, it is unbelievable. So money is going to help that, okay? We need to, it's unfortunate that I have to say this, but I worry if I say it how it will be quoted. But we want to be able to give some of our supporters masks, okay? The government stole 89 billion. You ask for that money. So we want to mobilize and see if we can at least get a few masks for our people. Okay, so all this fundraising goes towards that. And if you have any more questions, you can call us.
And I can add on a little bit from what he has said. We need 100,000 vote observers, people who are going to be there to make sure that they're returning the forms. I've forgotten the name of it.
DOR.
The DOR are returned,
forms.
are signed on. People who are going to monitor the vote declaration of results on the election day. We need 100,000 Ugandans. Those people need to be facilitated, because you want them there from morning to evening. They need to eat on that day. Some of these people don't have smartphones. You need airtime, maybe. Those who have smartphones, you need to get them data so that they can be able to transmit. Whatever they see, they need to capture it in video and send it where it is needed, because you need all these things. One of the things that President MUSEVENI is facing right now, and that's why you want to see them wanting to ban social media, and it's because of the raw footage that is coming from the things they've done. I was watching CNN. When CNN was reporting about what happened in Kampala, they did not even use footage from the journalists.
Yeah,
they used raw footage from Ugandans who are using their phones. Who are Ugandans because I saw the lady, the police is coming. Oh, he has shot. They're going to shoot. Oh, he has shot. I saw another footage of a guy who was in a building hiding with his phone, capturing. That is the footage. And when you stop people from sharing information, because that's what scares President MUSEVENI the more. Every Ugandan has become a journalist. And again,
he doesn't understand.
Yes, every Ugandan has become a journalist because we want to share information. What they've been doing for a very long time. Just imagine if there were cameras to show what happened in Luweero how these people killed all these Ugandans, it would have been a different story. Because for a long time, Museveni had to sell the story as a savior. He was a savior for Uganda. 500 Ugandans died in the 800. Or 800, whatever. They died in Luwero because of him. And look, ask yourself, he had the guns, he was the rebel wanting to take over power. Was it the government, sitting government killing? Definitely. They used to kill people as rebels and then run back and come back and they want to act like saviors. Now, coming to a situation, we don't have guns, we don't have any ammunition. What are they doing? We have our zeal, we are so determined, and we have our phones. We want to capture everything that is going. But they want, if President Museveni had a way, he would ban smartphones from Uganda.
He might. He's so desperate.
But so what people need to understand that on that day, it's most likely they're going to take off social media.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Yeah.
So we need people to record those videos and be able to transmit them via WhatsApp, because WhatsApp, they will not take it off. Yeah. Transmit via WhatsApp to Kakensa, transmit via WhatsApp to Kapalaga.
VPN.
Yes, and then for them to be able to download VPN, you need data. You don't use the same data as you're on the network.
Even in villages, Sarah, there's no electricity.
Yeah, some
villages
some
people, you have to go to a shop in Uganda. You pay 500 shillings, then you charge your phone.
So our observers need power banks. So you need people who are going to protect that vote, because Kyagulanyi has done what has been lacking. You know what people started questioning Kyagulanyi. The narrative came in, he's only has support in Buganda, or he's a social media president. You see, the people who used to run away with that narrative, the likes of Bajo, are all quiet now. Social media president. Then they started putting skepticism in some Ugandans. He started campaigning, he's only popular in Buganda. He left Buganda, went to the north. He started saying, he ferried people from Kampala to the north. Are you telling me he's ferrying people to everywhere? Yeah. Go to Kalamoja, go to everywhere Kyagulanyi goes.
I mean, they're saying he has no following.
Today he has been in Shema.
Gentlemen,
one other thing.
Yeah, because we have 6 minutes.
Yes.
And I want us to really
one other thing that beat
giving.
my understanding. I do the production like Haman put it. But we have our message that we are giving people, because we intend to have a democratic transition of governance, and that's our cry. And we've done everything to make sure there is peaceful transition of power, and elections is a democratic process. And in our message, I am telling people that, hey, we have a president, go vote for Kyagulanyi. And then my advert says, okulonda wekugwa tovaawo tukuuma akalulu kaffe. Okay? Bwe tuwangula tugende mu kujaganya. What is wrong with that?
You are inciting violence.
How?
No, you can't.
Because
it did not come from a journalist.
If I say this is a democratic process.
Well, at the end of the day,
no. What is wrong with celebrations? What is wrong with celebrations?
Anyway,
this is my message. I am telling people, I have a candidate, and my candidate is Senator Murobati Kyagulanyi. Please come out and vote in very big numbers and overwhelm Mwami Museveni, okay? But then, because there has always been situations of malpractices in the past elections, we don't want to see that. They've already said, you see, Besigye Taina Bakumachi Kalulu. Okay? Now, me, I am, as a production director, I am appealing to my people that, you know what? Okwewala ebyedda byebagamba Besigye doesn't have polling agents. I want you, the people, to become the polling agents. After voting, you stay there. Make sure our vote is not tampered with. Then, after counting, and you make sure you see that we've won, you go and celebrate. Now, what is wrong with celebrating? Now, what happens when we take our adverts to the radio on TV? They cut that out.
Auntie, you are inciting violence.
How?
That's what police is saying. But I mean,
which police or army? I'm confused because they now.
But gentlemen,
they should delete the word celebration in the political dictionaries. They should delete the word, you know, keep the vote, make sure you got the vote.
Even
our time is fast spent. I want us to, in a minute, abe Uganda, sente bazisindikewa, abali mu diaspora, sente bazisindikewa. Just give us those two. You want to start with you or we'll start with you?
Abe Uganda, banayi mutuweyo ku sente.
Bazisindikirana.
Tubegayidde mutuweyo ka sente. Kasente ako kanjogere mu Luganda. Lwensinga otegeera. Tubegayidde mutuwe kasente. President Museveni abadde nga ne narrative ng'egamba nti no, we are funded by the Western world. Unfortunately, we are not much as we would want. Twandiyagadde nnyo okubeera funded naye bakyali abo bakyagaanye. Kakati twetaagayo obulango bwaffe bulaninge ku maradio n'ama TV naye tetuyinaayo kasente. Twetaaga president mumulaba gyagenda yonna bakuba abantu, you know, police ekuba abantu abo bagenda mu malwaliro, twetaaga obbajjanjaba. Abantu baffe babasiba buli lunaku babatwala mu makooti, twetaaga obbajjayo. So twetaagayo kasente. We need money. Now, if you are in Uganda, please send that money to this number. +256 703 6363. That number is in the names of Daniel Oyerot. 0703 63. It's such an easy number. Newe ruba 10 bina kye lukola. Newe biba bisingi 5 eza Uganda. Bina kye zigattako. Bichaginga esimu mu kyalo. We need money. Now, those of you who are in the diaspora, we have different chapters in your different regions, wherever you live. Please reach out to those different chapters. If you don't know your chapter, or if you don't know the coordinator in your region, probably if we don't have a coordinator there, please reach out to us. Inbox me, inbox Haman, inbox Sarah, inbox whoever. We shall simply go to Bobi Wine's page. He normally posts those diaspora leaders. You can always find your leader on Bobi Wine's Facebook page. If you can't, please inbox us or inbox our WhatsApp number, and it also doubles as the Cash App number. It also doubles as the Zelle number, and Haman is going to read it.
Haman, you do a number yourself.
The number is +1 857 719 4451. Put it down. +1 857 719 4451.
Eriku Cash App, Eriku Zelle,
Eriku PayPal.
PayPal.
Yes. We are also telling people in the diaspora, besides finance, we are looking for staff. People in the diaspora, we want to network more. To run some operations, election management operations, health and medical operations, legal, IT. We need all those skills. So if you have any of those skills, please volunteer to do it, to represent in those areas. We are asking people in the diaspora to also take the day off, election day. If you can't take election week off, that would be very good. Election day and the day after election, and that Monday, election is on Thursday. We want you to take Friday off and also Monday, just so that you have time to celebrate with other Ugandans. So that is an appeal to people in the diaspora. Abe Uganda echokola muchimanyi. Shananga mbodu nyankole kachi.
Yeah.
Ngambodu nyankole. Abanyankole mwena ntubasimeriza oba ntubachira mukulike mu campaign za president witu kandi netubasaba mutuhereza kalulu kanyu. Ntwenda kuyawo MUSEVENI, ntwenda kutereza izina ly'abanyankole bona, tutandike kurebeka nk'abanya-Uganda. Abantu nibatujuma, abantu tubakutuchenga, ntwenda kweberera muso mwena abanyankole murugeyo 14th mu donating mu supporting movement eno akokuba ntubakunda kandi ntumanyango nimukunda Uganda.
Thank you very much, and we shall not go beyond that. I want to thank you, Mr. Kapalaga. I want to thank you, Joy. I want to thank you, Haman, for coming in today. Please, 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 We have 23 days to the election, and so we hope that as you give, but also pray for our country, pray for a peaceful transition of power, pray for the Electoral Commission chairperson, pray for the police force, pray for the military, that we shall have a free and fair election in Uganda. Next time we come here, we'll be having 20 days to the election, I think. It will be 21 days then, or no, it will be 18 days to the election by then. So we hope that you have had a good day, and if you want to still look for the numbers where you can send your money, if you're in Uganda, you can go back and listen to the program. They've mentioned the numbers if you're in Uganda. If you're in the diaspora, they've still given the numbers, so you can give. In Uganda, you can even give 500 shillings. You know, if you're in America, you can give even $1, so you cannot have an excuse, a reason for not having paid or played a role in the transition of power in Uganda. Bobi Wine needs money. We all need money to see that there's going to be a peaceful transition of power in the next 23 days. Money will be very important. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful time.